Look at the starting grid here, Greg, as you can see Matthew Skoltz on pole next to his teammate, as you say, Blake Davis, PJ Jacobsen, Cam Peterson, Ty Scott, and Kayla Yakov just continuing her strong run here towards the end of the year. Jake Lewis, Brandon Posh, Josh Hayes. Then we have Aiden Sneed, Corey Alexander, and Teague Hobbs. A little further back, good to see Joe Lamondre Jr. on the grid again with us here. Torrin Collins, Max Van, Jarrett Nassani, Ryder Davis making his debut, good for him. As well as Yandel Medina, nice to see him jumping up to Supersport. I haven't seen Gus Rodi in a while. De Silva, Henriquez, Owen Williams, Greg, and Logan Monk. Mag, Zaragoza, Omen, Horney, and Donde.
So when I talked to Matthew Skoltz right after qualifier number 2 today. Long red light. There we go, and away we go racing down to turn number 1. Blake Davis looks like he got a good launch as he heads to the inside of the track, now to the outside. As for Skoltz, he's going to slot himself outside around. There he goes, into the lead. Goes a win, and he wins.
See what we got. Oh, yeah, Joe looked like he was going down the outside of some people and just ends up getting, kind of pushed off the track. And that is such a bummer. It looked like he had a new suit on. They have done a great job getting that young man out onto the grid again, as PJ Jacobsen has now gone through on Blake Davis. But how about this, Greg? A full second lead at the front for the number 1.
The number 15 on the Ray Hall Ducati Moto with XPEL, as the number 22 Blake Davis on the Strack Racing Yamaha R9. Tries to go underneath him, but doesn't get that done. But then we knocked back to the Celtic Economy Lube and Tire Warhorse HSBK Ducati V2 of Cameron Peterson out of Corona, California, who's originally from South Africa. And he is not 100% is Cam P. We know he had a big crash at Code a couple weeks ago, and he's limping around, but he is right there for a podium spot. And then a rider that we don't talk enough about this season, Ty Scott out of Pennsylvania on the Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki GSXR 750 in 5th place right now, and he is latched squarely on the back of the 45. So those are your front runners.
Looking down the inside, that is a tight place to make a pass there. And you can see Blake almost gave Cam a little bit of room.
Cam Peterson on that Celtic Economy Lube and Tire Warhorse HSBK Ducati. You saw his team looking on as Cam P starting to lose a couple of points. There's the look at the live championship points. If it ended right now in this way, after this race, there's only 25 points available. That means that Skoltz would wrap up the championship and get his number 1 plate. And that's a position that he's been able to put himself in with his Strack Racing crew. So these bikes will look a little bit different, but I'm not sure RPM is the way they're going to go. But right now, Blake Davis trying to make a move on the inside of PJ Jacobsen. And you can see the stability of those two motorcycles under braking, completely different. But I'll tell you what, that Panigale V2, even though Ducati is coming out, has a newer version of that bike, everything that we're hearing about Supersport Legal Machine is going to have this model of motorcycle, still the same bike for next season, the Ducati Panigale V2 with that single-sided swing arm. So Ray Hall Ducati Moto with XPEL machine of PJ Jacobsen in what is his penultimate race in the Supersport category. Skoltz out in the lead as he has a look over his shoulder and back to his competition, now managing a 3.4 second lead for the number 1 plate, trying to recapture it. The possibility of him getting back into the superbike category looms. We know that PJ Jacobsen, who is now in 3rd place as well. So it's about handing over the torch, Jay, to the Blake Davises of the world. If we don't know what Cameron Peterson's going to be doing next year, but Ty Scott's another one that could say in Supersport. And in terms of the Ray Hall Ducati Moto with XPEL team, they're going to hand the reins over to Kayla Yakov.
PJ's got a problem. PJ
hand up in the air.
Problem. Man, what's going on?
And it looks like something going on with the rear tire for PJ Jacobsen as he has a look back, and the tire's gone flat for PJ.
Oh, he's got a flat tire.
So unfortunately for the 15, he's got to be careful about that one.
He's got to be really careful. Yeah, you got to PJ's going to want to get that off the track. He's got a flat tire. So that is horrible. You see Peter Strack looking on.
He does not want this championship to end this way either.
No, we'll see what they say.
Let's take a look at what happened. PJ started to feel the vibration. You can already see the tire starting on that right side of the tire. He wants to get by Davis and get himself into 2nd position. As so far this weekend, Cameron Peterson has been on it. He races 2 classes in the same weekend. And for Cameron Peterson, he raced in the Mission King of the Baggers earlier today in the challenge race, which is basically a win or nothing, kind of a 3-lap dash for $5,000. Doing a great job for them right now. Yeah, and then we can see Nassani and Jake Lewis.
They got a red flag, Greg. Yeah, they got a red flag.
All right, so red flag is out, and that's going to wrap things up for this race for the Strack Racing team, and that's going to be a national championship in the books. Their second in a row with Matthew Skoltz. Nobody wants to do it on a red flag, but it happens in racing occasionally, and that's what's happening in this one. Skoltz had led from start to finish and done an outstanding job. And it's going to be Blake Davis in second and Cameron Peterson. So the countrymen, the good friends for years since they were young men, celebrating together. We're Cam P on the podium, and Skoltz does it again, back to back. His second Motovation Supersport Championship. So welcome back to Motovation Supersport Race number 1 here at New Jersey Motorsports Park, and our penultimate race of the season for Motovation Supersport. There were 15 laps scheduled. We got in 12 by the top 4.
All the race wins that he's had, he's won the battles throughout the year. Picked up his bike at Barber in the rain there, just never gave up. It didn't matter what the conditions were. Matt comes out on top, and it's going to be exciting to see. He said he'll be back with the Strack Racing.
So 1-2 for Strack Racing, and then Cameron Peterson, who has just really poured it on at the end of this season. Can't wait to see what happens with him next year. Ty Scott, Kayla Yakov, Josh Hayes. But here's a look at the championship. So you can see it's a 46-point gap with only 25 points to get tomorrow. That's why he's the champion. So Blake Davis said he's going to get after Skoltz tomorrow.